Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. In this video, you get to come along for a little ride with me and we get to talk about, I guess, how you know that you're on the first initial step toward recovering. I don't think I've ever kind of touched on this before. So I wanted to make a video based on basically a new conversation that I was just having with someone, and it kind of dawned on me like what somebody should look out for to get a positive idea about where they're headed in terms of recovering from an anxiety disorder. So to me, that answer is going to be when you can take a step back and actually realize that you have momentum going in your favor. And now that can be in multiple areas, which I think it should be. And to get a negative thing out of the way in the very beginning, and then just kind of focus on the positives. That negative is going to be there's no way really for you to recover if your recovery is just consisting on you running to YouTube and finding some relatable stories and relatable content creators and just getting reassurance in that moment, like, oh my God, thank God, like I'm not alone, and somebody else is dealing with or dealt with what I'm dealing with. It's a needed first step and something that you also do have to do, and it can help with your mindset. But the more that you do that, the more that you really fall into another trap, which is getting short-lived reassurances, and you kind of just find yourself always diving back into it and needing more and more of it, and it's just kind of like another trap that you can find yourself falling into, because the reassurances last less and less of a time, and essentially every couple hours, you'll be going on there looking for another video or looking for the same video and just looking for basically it's just another symptom trap, just another trap that you fall into, where you're just kind of focusing on symptoms, and you just want to make sure that, okay, so this person's feeling this person's feeling that. And when you start to build momentum, a domino effect of that is you start to regain some semblance of control over your life, because when you really fall hard into like the anxiety cycle, you really lose all semblance of control, and you feel like you have no control left over anything in your life. You feel like your life is falling apart. You feel like the world is against you. If you're somebody who believes in God, you have a faith, you feel like God is against you. You definitely feel like your body is against you, because I definitely felt like my body was constantly against me. I was just never on the same page with my body. I'm going through a tunnel right now, but my focus is on the road. So okay, don't try this at home. But anyway, I just wanted to speak my mind before I forget a lot of these things. So building this momentum is, I think, the really, like, the first really big motivating factor, and the first really big milestone, that when you can take a step back and realize, holy shit, like 6 months ago, a year ago, however long it takes, it's irrelevant, because you're at this point now. You couldn't do any of the stuff or half the stuff that you're able to do now. Like, I could take a step back and I could go outside and go for walks when I could never do that before. If I was doing that before, I was always just like, it could be profusely starting to sweat, because I was afraid of getting my heart rate up. I was afraid of feeling a skip beat. I was afraid of doing like all these kind of things. But now you're able to do that. Now you're able to go out to a social event, whereas before, if you had social anxiety, you could never do that. Like, it gets to a point where you don't want to leave. Your home is your comfort zone. You don't want to leave that, and every time you leave that, it sends you into a panic. And driving, it could be something like that. Just being able to get in the car and drive, because some of you have driving anxiety, and if you're on a highway, you go into panic mode. So just being able to take the steps back and realize these victories and realize small wins eventually lead to big wins. They add up over time, and a lot of people, they don't realize it because they're too focused on what's still going wrong and not focused on, okay, like, what have you fixed so far. So I think that that's very big and deserves praise and deserves gratitude and deserves to be added into like a daily routine. So you say you wake up in the morning and the first thing you're doing is hammering home to your subconscious that you're progressing, you're on the right track, and you do have momentum going, and you can make it all the way through, even though it's, there's still a ways left to go. But how do you build the momentum? To me, this is what differentiates me and my channel, I feel like, from everybody else, because I don't feel like everybody else gives you a full picture of recovery and a full picture of what it took for you to get here. I think that some people, and everybody's right in their own regard, but it's not a holistic kind of approach. It's just one thing. Like, there's people out there who solely stick to traumatic events, and that's all that they want to. That's all they want to focus on. There's people who solely focus on dietary related things, and that's what they focus on most part. There's people out there who talk about exercise, and that's just what they focus on. Whereas I'm of the mindset that it's literally everything. Like, it's all of those and then more. It's your diet, it's your exercise, it's your past, it's your just every lifestyle habit in general, your sleep quality and your sleep habits, and everything kind of feeds into it. So once you take a look at all these areas, and I'm open to go into all these areas if you want one-on-one coaching, because you don't really know where to begin, you don't really know what to look for, I can help you with that. I've seen a lot of the dietary related things have been where my focus has been of late. It used to be medical related, it used to be heart related, because I had the cardiophobia, so I was focused primarily on learning about things about the heart, which I can tell you, if you're somebody who suffers from the cardiophobia and that's how you found me, don't even bother, because it's a knowledge, it's a gift and a curse. It's power, but it's not power when you're in the anxiety loop. It's not good at all, because you might realize, oh, thank God I don't have this one horrible thing that I thought I did. But in the meantime, like, well, son of a bitch, I just learned about 3 other things that I could potentially have. So now it's on to those, and do I have that? And now you're still looking at everything, wondering if you have B condition instead of A condition. And then if it's not B condition, you learn about C condition, and now you're on to that one. So it's a never-ending kind of cycle. So go to the doctor, go to the specialist, the cardiologist, whatever issue it is that you're dealing with, and whatever symptom is your most problematic one, and get that shit ruled out. And if that's not good enough, get a second opinion from a different set of doctors. And then once they come back and they say, okay, that everything is good and it's anxiety, okay, now you can kind of take a deep breath, step back, like, okay, all these symptoms and everything, it's all anxiety, it all falls under that tree. So now you can kind of start to, put some effort into regaining that control, building that momentum, not freaking out every time you feel something or feel a symptom or a sensation, and then start moving forward. But every one of these areas has got to be addressed. If you're following somebody else on YouTube, Instagram, whatever, TikTok, whatever social media outlet you're a part of, and they're only focused on one lifestyle habit or one area of life, I do not think that you're going to be able to recover doing that. Like, I'm just going to be straight up with everybody, because I'm nothing if not honest. I will die on my own hills that I believe in. I don't think that you're ever going to be able to recover if you're looking at one area instead of as opposed to the 6 that could have potentially been causing you issues leading to your anxiety. Okay, because I've been to numerous doctors, I've seen numerous therapists, I've seen numerous doctors, I've seen numerous cardiologists, I've seen numerous dietitians, I've seen thousands and thousands of YouTube videos and journals, health reports, published the papers that people talk about and cite in their videos. I've seen all of it, and I've seen how they all have ties to mental conditions, mental illnesses, whether it's depression, anxiety disorders, bipolar disorders, dementia, Alzheimer's, anything that you could think of. There's studies out there that are linked to it with just diet. So if you're just looking at past traumas and your diet shit and you're eating McDonald's all the time, like, how do you think that you're going to recover when you're feeding your body poor things and your body's just telling you in its own way something's not right? In the meantime, you keep digging into your past, which is a good thing, but then you're dealing with your issues by going to, you know, comfort foods, which is in some cases McDonald's, fast food, Wendy's, you know, just kind of junky foods, sugary foods, causing your insulin to spike, which is giving you peaks and valleys. You're always drained. And, you know, when you're hungry, when you're tired, when you're, you know, alone, these are times when your anxiety spikes, because it did with me. I know, like, you know, when I was feeling tired, my anxiety would go up. If I was feeling hungry, it really would. I was on I had to put myself like on a calendar, like a time frame, what I was eating. Like every 3 hours I would have to eat something, because if either my blood sugar would drop, or I would just like mentally think I had to eat at a certain time, and if I didn't do it, I would start to go into panic mode. It's a miserable time. But I could, like, you know, I could take a step back and I could realize this. I could realize these things, especially now, you know, looking back, and I still have, like, I'm still going to, like, functional medicine guys, because I don't really trust that. Like, I just don't think, you know, with my experiences, I'm not saying all, obviously. I think that all doctors mean well and they think they want to help you, but I just don't think that they can in a lot of instances, especially with anxiety. I don't think they have the slightest idea what causes it, and they'll just refer you to pills or a psychiatrist to get you out of the office. But I'm still dealing with functional medicine guys, because I know that for 35 years or however long it's been, like, my gut and my gut health, my digestive system has just been through the ringer and trashed. So my gut health and my digestion, all that kind of stuff, are still suffering. And even to this day, this exact day today, I was in work before I had to go get fingerprinting done. If I have to go to the bathroom, you know, if I have to use the bathroom, I can feel my anxiety spike, and that tells me that there's still something wrong with my gut health and my digestion and things like that. So I'm in the process of looking into that. I've gone through some testing, and we're taking some steps to see what we can do to kind of alleviate that and fix that, because that's going back 35 years of, in my opinion, bad dietary habits, bad lifestyle habits, which have led to bad gut health, which can lead to bad health overall. Like I said before too, like, I was 250 pounds. You've seen my video. If you've watched them, if you haven't watched them, go back and watch them. There's a lot of, like, important information in there. So it just all spills over into all these other areas. Like, the diet affects your mental health based on what you eat. And I've seen studies that show, if you're again, like a vegan or I don't really think, but I think it was vegan that they were talking about. I could look for it. If anybody has questions about it, you can make a comment down below and I'll actually go and look for the study. But vegan was about 50% more likely to develop anxiety disorders and bipolar, deep depression, depressive disorders, and suicidal ideation than somebody who eats, like, animal products, because your body needs saturated fat and cholesterol in order to make certain hormones and all these kind of things in your body. So it's very important. So, like, you can't sit there and tell me that diet doesn't play a role and just looking at the past traumas, you know what I mean? And you can't tell me that, you know, sleep doesn't play a role. And because, again, in my case, I'll just point to my own evidence. I had undiagnosed sleep apnea when I was at the worst of it. I was always tired. I was always exhausted. I was never getting quality sleep. My body was never resting and repairing and recovering. And that essentially could have been another factor into what led to all my ectopic heartbeats, which kicked off, the worst of my anxiety symptoms, which, still puts so much fear in me that it's still something that pops up, with me now. If I get an anxiety spike, the first fear and thought that pops in my head is heart-based. You know what I mean? So, like, you can't sit here and tell me that, oh, well, diet doesn't play a role. sleep doesn't play a role, exercise doesn't play a role. When it's known that exercise helps with the release of certain chemicals in the body, that it lowers stress, it lowers inflammation in the body. Like it's all out there already. So if you're somebody that comes across my channel and you've just been watching like one guy and they've just been talking about one area of recovering from this kind of stuff, like you're just not going to go anywhere. You're just not going to take off. It's going to be like not a placebo effect, because it's helping. You're fixing one area of your life that's going to help you. But that's going to give you a mentality, basically like you're building momentum, and you're building momentum, so it gives you confidence, and you're then starting to move yourself forward and propel yourself. But there's still other areas that need addressing. So eventually you're going to fall back. You're going to fall backwards, because these other areas are they're weighing you down. It's like a weight. It's like an ankle weight. You could have wrist weights. You could have ankle weights. And just think of, if you're fixing one area, you're removing one of the weights. Say you have weights on your wrists and your ankles, and 5-pound weights, and you're removing 5-pound weight from your wrist, but you still have 15 pounds weighing you down in these other areas of your life that you still have to liberate yourself from, to be able to really just live your life. And like the approach that I take, and the approach that I try to speak about in these videos, is every area, from the research that I've done. It's not just focused on one area. Like, to me, I believe that one area in most instances has the most benefit, and that's going to be the diet one, unless you're somebody that has a lot of past traumas and things like that, like really deeper things, with the physical abuses, sexual abuse, those areas, that holds a lot of weight. That's something that really needs to be addressed. Also, on the flip side of that, though, that spills over into the other areas of your life. That leads to the comfort, the binge eating, and the comfort foods, and most times the comfort foods are not good. They're not good foods for you. So you really have to take a step back and be like, okay, what am I thinking about? What's triggering me? What thoughts are going through my mind that are making me anxious and feel that way? And then what's my response to them? Is my response eating? Is my response fear? Is my response negative? Is my response, freezing, tensing? There's so many areas of this that it's impossible for one person to give you one area and think that you're gonna recover, because it's too complex for that. And this is why I think new age outlets like and social media and things, and more people talking about this that aren't just in the medical field, because doctors and things like that, like they read out of a book, they look at like the the DSM manual and all these kind of things, and they just think that they could just throw out labels and diagnoses and all this kind of stuff, and then they just prescribe you a medication because that's all that they know. But I'm telling you right now, I've learned more off of YouTube with people who have no medical degrees, and in all these areas of diet. Some of these have medical degrees, but like diet, tinnitus, cardiophobia, palpitations, I've learned more off of YouTube than I have ever setting foot in a doctor's office. Like, some of these people are world-renowned, well-known MDs, cardiologists, and things like that, but a lot of them are not. A lot of them have no training, other than the fact that they did their own research for years. They've been dealing with anxiety for years. They've had panic disorder for years, and they were just fed up, and they were tired of going to therapists and doctors and having them tell them poor shit, basically. Talk therapy is going to, for the most part, talk therapy is going to do nothing for you. It's good. It's good if you get things off your chest. It's good that you get along with your therapist. You develop kind of a rapport and a bond. But if you're addressing no other areas of your life, nothing is going to change. So you go into a therapist and they tell you, like, practice your breathing and do breathing techniques and go to a happy place and all this kind of stuff. That shit is for the birds, in my opinion. I think it helps as a lifestyle habit. I think you should incorporate deep breathing and meditation as a lifestyle habit just to keep yourself at baseline. But if you're going into fight or flight, I'm willing to say that 80% or more of you will not benefit from deep breathing. It's just going to make you feel everything more. It's going to make you focus in on what you're feeling, and you're going to flip the fuck out. Excuse my language, because I did it, and everybody that I've spoken to has done the same exact thing when they've gone into fight or flight and they've tried to breathe their way through it. It does not work. It sends you further into panic mode, because now you're further feeling, and like, the whole purpose of meditation is to be one with your body. If you feel your body is against you, what good is feeling more of that gonna do for you? It's not. So when you're calm and when you get to a better place, I think it's a phenomenal tool just to get back in touch with your body, get back into a more spiritual kind of mode, and it can be just a beautiful thing. But you have to get there. You have to get to the point where you're able to even do it. So I just think that a lot of these things that people tell people who are suffering, it's just, not going to do much. And that, again, that's just my own opinion. But I'm not saying that the things are bad. I'm not saying that meditation and deep breathing is bad, because I practice them. But I practice them when I'm calm, when I'm even, I don't ever practice like in a heightened level of anxiety. I don't ever do any of that stuff. I think the most thing that I do is just to kind of let it be there, and kind of try to dig in a little bit and try to feel it, feel the fear and feel the impending doom kind of things, because I felt it hundreds, if not thousands of times, and most of you have done the same thing, and it's never hurt you. It's never hurt me. I'm still here. So take a deep breath and be like, all right, I'm going into fight or flight. I had a trigger. I felt something. I had a sensation. I've felt it thousands of times, and I've been checked out. I've been cleared. Feel it. What can you do to me? What are you going to do to me? Let me feel a little bit more of it. Dig in a little bit. What's my thought process? What went through my head? What's triggering me? Where am I at? Am I in a certain environment that kind of causes my anxiety to spike? You have to, take a step back and realize these things. But anyway, I'll end it there. It's 22 minutes. I don't want to go too long in these videos, as long as I ever wanted to. But sometimes I kind of just go off on rants. So if you have any questions, feel free. Let me know. Comment down below. Ask me questions. In some of these other emails too, I'm more than willing to do one-on-one coaching. If you want any kind of pricing or rates, please feel free. Comment down below. Email me. If you don't have the email, just comment and ask for the email, and I'll give it to you. But please don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, please. I was hoping, that I would try to pick up more subscribers. It doesn't cost anything. There's no fee for it, but at least it kind of helps me reach more people, and help me grow the channel. Because obviously if the channel doesn't grow, then there's helping anybody is a great benefit to me. But now that I'm back, full-time working in a pretty demanding field, it's got to be kind of worth it for me to take the time to to continue to make videos to try to help people. But I am always available to help, who needs it. I respond to every comment. I respond to any email. I respond to, anytime anybody needs anything and I can help them, I will. So thank you very much for checking out the channel. Thank you very much for watching the video. I love you all, and I hope you all the best of luck, and I hope you all the best of outcomes. It's the end of the new year. Make your New Year's resolution to kick the shit out of anxiety in 2023, and to apply these approaches and look into these other areas of life. Thank you very much, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Take care.